One of the most important steps of figuring out how to be successful with selling business credit financing all comes down to developing what's called a MAP or a massive action plan. So here's how to do this. I'm going to walk through the steps, then I'll show you an example. So the first thing you need to do is figure out how much money do you want to make a month selling business credit financing? What are you trying to do here? How much do you want to make? So let's say you say, look, I want to make $20,000 selling business credit financing. Perfect. Now you need to know how many deals do you need to close? How many people do you need to make sales to make $20,000? Well, let's say you're pricing your finance suite at $3,000. That would mean you need to make 7 sales in order to make over $20,000 a month in revenue. So you now know you need to make 7 sales in order for that to happen. So next you need to figure out how many presentations do you need to do to close 7 people, because every person you present to probably isn't going to close. Some people won't have the money. Some people might not have other objections. You don't know. So let's say that 30% is your closing ratio, which is about where we see a lot of partners end up. So if you need to close 7 deals, then that means you need to present to about 21 people in order to close 30% to get your 7 deals. And then next you need to figure out how many people do you need to talk to get them into a presentation to close the 7. So you know you need to do 21 presentations. Let's say that you have to talk to 3 people to get one person that's a good fit and interested to get into a presentation. So that's about 63 people. So now you know you need to talk to 63 people in a month in order to get 21 into presentations, in order to get 7 to close, in order to make over $20,000 a month. And then you want to map out the actual plan of marketing, or what you're going to do to talk to that many people. So let's look at this actually laid out. Let's say you want to make 20 grand a month. That means you need to close 7 deals if your price point was 3,000. Okay, 3 times 7 is 21. So if you had 7 deals closed at $3,000 a piece, that would be $21,000 a month in revenue. Okay, that means that you need to do about 21 presentations based on a 30% closing ratio. Okay, if you present to 21 people and you only close a third of those people, then you've got 7 closings to make your 20 grand. So that means that you need to speak to about 63 people, because if I walk up to 63 people on the street and say, do you own a business? Are you thinking about starting a business? 2 of those 3 aren't going to be interested or don't even own a business. And then one of those 3 goes, yeah, I'm interested. And then those are the people that you're getting into a presentation. So let's just say hypothetically that you need to talk to about triple the amount of people that you're going to get into presentations to find people interested enough to get into presentations, about 1 in 3. So that's about 63 people you need to talk to. So if you speak to or mention business credit financing to 17 people a week, or what this breaks down to is about 4 people per day, 5 days a week, then you're able to make 20 grand a month. That's how it works. So that's simple. So we know 63 people. If we do the math on that, that breaks down to about 17 people per week. If we break that down even further, we know we need to talk to 4 people a day. So that means that every day you need to be in front of 4 people where you say, hey, look, do you own a business? Are you thinking about starting a business? Oh, yes, you are. Okay, great. Oh, no, you're not? Okay, well, listen, if you know of anybody that is or does, then I can help them get financing. So do you know of anybody that owns a business that you think might actually want to get some money? Yeah, I do, my brother. Well, let me give it, how do I get in touch with him? Or, yes, I do own a business. Great. Well, then you get into the steps we've already talked about of getting them into an actual presentation. So now you know you need to talk to 4 people per day if you're working 5 days a week, and then you should meet your goal of $20,000 in revenue. That is exactly how you develop a map. You first figure out how much money you want to make. Once you know what your price point is, then you know how many sales you need to make that amount of money. Then you can figure out about what a 30% closing ratio is, or take that amount of sales and triple it to see how many people you need to present to, and then take that amount of people and triple it again to see how many people you actually need to talk to get those people into presentations, and that'll determine how many people you need to speak with about business credit financing every day to make the kind of money you want to make. Now, this is just simply an example. You might want to make 50 grand a month. You might want to make 10 grand a month. You might get into it and realize that you have a 40% closing ratio, or you might realize that you have a lot of business owners around you and you don't need to talk to 3 people to get one into a presentation. You only need to talk to 2. So these are kind kind of on the high end. It very well might be lower than this amount. When you get out there, you first develop your map like I'm showing you here. Then when you get out there, you might redo some of these figures, realizing you have a higher closing percentage, maybe a lower closing percentage, or you might realize you need to talk to more or less people than that number to get them into a presentation. But here's the basic overview of how you develop a map to get an idea of this is how much I want to make and this is the amount of work that I need to do to get there. It's very important to note, and you've heard me say this in other videos, that the number one and only thing that really matters is how many people you talk to in a day. That's it. Whether you succeed or fail, whether you make 20 grand a month or nothing, selling business credit financing are all nearly 100% determined based on how many people you talk to. If you put yourself in front of the right amount of people, then you're going to make sales and you're going to make money. And that's what I love about business credit, is that you got to talk to 4 people a day. Seriously? Think about this. Nothing stops you from spending 2, 3, 4 hours a day if you wanted to, going out and cold knocking on doors to get in front of as many businesses as you could to be able to talk to them and get them into a presentation. If you went out every day and your whole job was just to go out every day talking to people, you would probably make a sale a day. And if you did that, you can imagine if you were doing 20 sales a month at 3 grand, that's $60,000 a month. That's a lot of money. But of course, I don't want you to go out there cold calling, knocking on doors. So in future steps, I'm going to teach you exactly how to market and advertise where you can get in front of a lot of people without a lot of effort to be able to maximize what you make. But I only say this because it's important to know that the only thing in between you and making all the money you want to make with business credit financing is one variable: how many people you talk to. If you develop a map, you'll know exactly how many people you need to talk to a day. Then you put together a strategy using our marketing and education, or marketing and advertising education we're going to provide, to put yourself in front of that many people so you can start making the money you really want to make with business credit and financing.